So, if you guys didn't hear me before, let me introduce ourselves again. We're the Rogue Scholars. We basically will be talking gaming in various podcasts, and today's episode is going to be PC versus console. So, if you guys didn't hear that before, that brings you back up to speed.
I gotta make
I'm
sure I'm
trying.
doing it the right way. I'm just
Look,
like,
see, you have to look over me though. You have to look over me. Oh, are you
oh,
trying to
I have
look
to
at me
do.
right now?
No,
Am I
I'm
already
trying
being
to.
shade?
You gotta get out of the way. I was trying to like
Oh,
look
hold
at
on. Are we
there.
good?
Okay, good. Thank you for being a gentleman
We
today,
have
man.
already
I got
digressed
you.
into Brady Bunch shenanigans. This is not going well. Trellian, you were talking a little bit about some things while I was working on fixing my mic. What would you say a good summary of what you just said was, just to bring me up
I
to
think
speed?
basically I choose console games to play right now because of the limitation I have with of streaming and playing games would be way too hard on my like 6-year-old laptop, which is it's still a decent laptop. It still can play games just fine. Not like the newest of games. I think Crisis would probably make my laptop cry, but
Yeah,
other than that, like I just use the capture card and stream on this, and then just play it on the console. So that's usually how I do it.
sure. Kirby, what about you?
So I'll say the main reason I stream on PC is because I don't want to get a capture card, and that would let me stream on console. But even regardless, most of the games I play on PC. But similar to what you said earlier, Wombat, up until not a year ago, but I would say 4 or 5 years ago, I only played console because building a PC or figuring out what parts of a PC I needed to game was intimidating to me. Because for a console, it's easier. I'll admit that everything comes bundled, and when I put the game in, it'll work and everything's fine.
That's
For
definitely true.
PC, there's different parts, and you have to consider what parts you need for whatever the hell you want to do. And that was intimidating to me, so I didn't really get into the PC area for a while there. But eventually, I had a friend who convinced me and kind of helped me build my first system. And since then, I've been playing PC because I think it's not easier, but once you get it set up, in my opinion, I think it's a bit, I don't know, smoother, better, stuff like that.
When did you build your PC?
So if this is my third PC. No, it's not. It's my second. I lied. The first one I didn't build. Um, so like 6 years ago, I bought a PC. It was okay. It was a pre-built one. Um, I spent way more than I should have on it, and then that only lasted like a year, and then I got mad at it. So then I built one a year after that, which lasted about 4 years, and the one I'm currently using, I ended up building November, like this past November. So like I don't know, 8 months ago or whatever.
Oh,
Gotcha.
really? I didn't know it was
That's
that new.
yeah. My newest PC is very new
I
too.
So
think I
I got
remember
the
you
new
mentioning it.
PC smell.
Yeah, it's got that new PC smell. I have my I've got the like the little car fresheners. I bought one for like new PC. It's hanging in there. That way I can always smell it. But yeah, so my current PC is very new.
The build for my PC, the casing looks like a stormtrooper. Like it's just white and black.
Oh, that's
No
So
about
way.
sweet.
so I called it FN2187.
I don't
Uh,
know enough about Star Wars, so that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm a
it's
pleb.
it's the newest guy who's a stormtrooper that's a turncoat. His stormtrooper name was FN2187.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
You
So
gotta take a picture of that and put it on Discord. I haven't seen this.
I should. It's got blue and red lights on it, so it's conflicted in the force.
That's actually pretty sweet. It's conflicted in the Force.
um, yeah, for me, like, I guess ultimately these days, the PC versus console is almost like, I hate to say it, but it's almost dependent on your wealth, your status, because, like, some people don't get to choose. Like, it's all about, like, what your finances are like and where you are in your life. And if you're in a comfortable spot, maybe you're more comfortable getting X thing or
Yep.
Y thing, but it's usually more about situation and like where you are rather than physical choice. Like it's almost like we're in Mother Russia, game chooses you. Um, so like for me, I played console because like my first console was given to me, and I like there's certain games you can't play on console or on PC or on console. For example, Nintendo is primarily only on Nintendo, and I'm a big
Right.
Nintendo person. So that makes things hard for me to be a PC purist. You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
And
because
I agree with that. I think when it comes to like the PC master race versus console pleb war kind of thing that's going on, like I think you have to take like Nintendo or Nintendo Switch, whatever, out of the equation. You have to just be like Microsoft PlayStation versus the PC, because if at that point you're basically come down like what's the difference, and you can have the same games on either one. In fact, like on a PC, you could probably run it better. You can have the choice on how you play it. You got like you can play it on a keyboard and mouse, or you can hook up a controller, and you got a lot more choices. Steam, of course, has a lot more games
Yep.
than Xbox or PlayStation. I mean, even though PlayStation is growing in their exclusives, and Microsoft promises it at E3, which I will see if they deliver.
We'll see.
Uh, it's just I had to say like probably tip my hat towards PC gaming. I think on that. The only thing is, and I think you hit it right on the head there, Wombat, is to get a decent computer, you're at least looking at like at least 2K, you know.
not
And then
necessarily.
you don't think so? I think a decent
It depends
PC
on
would
what
at
your
least be
decent
2K.
standard is. I mean, decent, I think you get away with like 500 or 600. To be completely honest with you, if you want to
Well, I
be,
wouldn't say that either. I'd say the mid-range, the sweet spot would be around 1K.
Think
that's
so?
fair.
That's how much I dropped on my computer. I did get a
Okay.
couple deals though, so maybe it is a little bit higher, like Trell's saying. Um,
Okay.
the biggest problem is with the video card. Video cards are more and more and more and more expensive, especially with Bitcoin being a thing,
Yeah.
driving prices up. I don't know too much about that, but I do know it does affect them. And that sucks. So, fortunately, I was able to get a deal on mine, and like you kind of have to these days. Like, there's plenty of deals out there. It's just a matter of doing the research and finding them to get it right.
Right. Well, then, okay, let's bring Nintendo back into the equation. I think
Sure.
that Nintendo has been the biggest player behind the scenes, and we didn't really know about it until the big payoff of the Switch. Like we all kind of like were like, okay, the Wii was cool, it was cute, it was a gimmick,
It
and
was
then
cute.
and then the Wii U came out, and it was like, oh, we're the Wii again. And then like after that with the Switch, it was like, oh, this is what they've been working up towards. Like with this is what the PC doesn't have. It's mobile, and that's huge. And not only that, they have their franchises locked down. It's like so they have the sweet spot of their if you want to play Zelda, if you want to play Mario, DK, whatever, you got to come to us. And now you have the ability to go mobile. So that's insane. And they're even looking at going and hooking it. Like look at the new Pokemon games that are coming out. They're going to hook up the Pogo. I
Yep.
mean, they're being very innovative, and the PC is still doing this thing with Steam is like the big player there. But as far as Microsoft and Sony go, they're gonna have to look at what they can do. I mean, they're promising exclusives, but they got to make sure that they're offering more of a service rather than just a product, because they need to lock you in. And I think that's where they're going to fall short. And I think Nintendo is going to be, even though they've been the dark horse like for a little bit, they're starting to shine like what they've been hiding all this time. They're going to come out and be like super strong, I think, in the next couple years.
My fear with all of that is, well, for example, Nintendo decided to go the pay to play route in terms of internet services, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So did Xbox and PlayStation have already been there. One of the draws with Nintendo was that they were free. That was a big draw, right? But my worry is that other services like those three, like my worry is that the PC services are going to turn more into like consoles. Like for example, Steam created the Steam box, so that you could play a little bit easier for certain settings, your Steam
Wait, you're
games.
talking about the Steam Link, or is there something else called the Steam Box?
I think there's something called the Steam Box. It's like a
Okay,
console for Steam to play
oh, I know what
games.
you're talking about. I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
And you can hook
I
the
forgot that
Steam
existed.
controller in there and everything like that. So they're buying into the console market to try and break up this like to cash in on it. So that's
Hmm.
yeah.
I never really looked into that, so I don't really know what it was.
I
per
mean,
se. But
yeah, it doesn't seem to have gotten too much traction, but it's definitely like a step in an interesting and uncomfortable direction. Uncomfortable because what if like Steam one day becomes a pay to play, or like other services like the EA Oracle and other things like that. Like
okay. Yeah,
it's kind of like the Netflix syndrome where like Netflix and Hulu popped up and like ripped apart like TV stations, and now the TV stations to watch their shows, you got to subscribe to their channels and things like that and pay.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty uncomfortable um, direction that they're taking. Because you
yeah,
pay for cable and it's like 50 bajillion dollars per month just to watch basic cable. And then you add on all these specialties like HBO and Showtime and now Netflix and Hulu, which have their own things. Like if that's the way the gaming market goes, I don't know what that's going to spell for like the person who's on a budget, which is like
right.
half the world at least.
Well, yeah,
99%.
because you have to pick your allies. You have to once you're involved. Like for me, I think the first console I had was NES, and then SNES, and then I went to PS1, PS2, and then I converted to Microsoft because I was like, oh my god, this Xbox, this is the future. And then after that, I've stuck with it with the 360 and the Xbone, and probably regret every minute of it because I think I've had 4 360s Red Ring on me, and then I had the X Bone when I bought it. The disk drive failed. It was at least under warranty, so I sent that in.
How soon did it
And
fail after you bought it?
oh, dude,
I'm just
like
curious.
months,
Okay.
months. I mean, Microsoft makes crap products. They really do. And but to your point, Wombat, I've already converted. I'm already in their system. I've invested, so I feel like I have to stick with it.
That's a good
And
point. Yeah.
I mean, like nowadays, you can walk to a GameStop or whatever, and I could probably pick up a PS2 if they even have any there,
They do,
like
by the way.
like $50 or something, or even
Yep.
cheaper.
They're usually like 40. I got this one a couple years ago as a gift, and we were specking out different ones, and they're usually like 40.
Okay. See, like, and I've thought about doing that just so I can go back and play like some of the golden oldies, like some of the Spyros or something like that. But
Spyro's so good.
I know, get me all hyped up for the new one, and then I'm gonna be
I
crying
get
I
it.
don't have a PS4.
Right.
But like there's times where I want to convert, but then I think of like it's more than just like, oh, I've saved up like 500 or whatever to buy a PS4. I'm good. It's like no. Now you got to get the games too, and then you have
Right.
that separation of a whole new library, and it just
You
costs a
gotta
lot of
keep
money.
them
So yeah, to your point,
separated.
I see. To your point, it's like it's right there. I think you hit it on the head again, where it's just like, yeah, once you're in the one market, you got to stay with it. Otherwise, you've got multiple markets, and your wallet's just crying.
Yeah.
Just crying at you.
It took me a while to upgrade to a newer system. My latest system was the Xbox 360. I never upgraded from there, even though there's a lot of games on Xbox One that I really wanted to play. Um, and then I got a Wii U as a gift one year. And like, even though I really liked the Wii U, there wasn't a lot of games that I could afford for it. So even though we spent the money for the console, like I ended up getting Mario Maker and Breath of the Wild, and I think I have like one or two other games like Mario Kart, but like I never really got too much. And now that I have a Switch, like I have Super Mario Odyssey, but that's it. Like I don't have any other games because, well, first of all, I have Breath of the Wild on Wii U, so why would I get it for the next gen? Uh, at least like I didn't justify it at the time. Like I might eventually. I probably will. I have like you should see my Zelda collection. It's like I have every game for every type of console it's
Oh
for.
wow.
So like Ocarina of Time, I have like 6 copies of it.
I mean, I knew you were a Zelda fanboy because you seem to use it a lot in your stream, but wow, I didn't know you had that many. I have not played every Zelda game. That's still on. There's some of those on my bucket list.
I
You
haven't.
never played
I
Majora's Mask,
haven't
right?
either.
I've played Majora's Mask. I never beat it.
Oh, you're-
Ooh, okay. Oh, Trell.
But
That's
we gotta
That
fix
one.
that, right, Wombat?
we
We gotta
gotta
fix
fix
that.
that.
I have it a 64 and I have the capability of streaming the 64, but the controller, the joystick, like all the controllers I have, the joystick either like just flops around because it's not stiff, or I just bought a new one off of Amazon that it's so super stiff that it's hard to play. So
Hmm.
I need to break it in, I think, before I can stream
Okay.
it.
I mean,
I
you
don't
said
want
you
I
were
don't
looking for
want
more games.
I don't want the gameplay of my channel going down just because of controller
Oh,
difficulties.
right. I'm responsible for controllers and whatnot. We all know that.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I was having some trouble with my keyboard and mouse yesterday playing Dark Souls, but it was a computer limitation. And that's actually another thing about PC versus console. Console usually has big problems or no problems, whereas PC, there's all these little things that might crop up that you have to troubleshoot, whether it's a driver or a Windows update or,
Yeah.
various other things too. And Dragonus actually brought up a point on the feed. She said something else will always pop up to fill a need. What do you guys think about that?
Hold on, let me read. Something else always popped to fill a need.
I mean, I guess like if Dragon S, if you can add some context to that, I think I know what you mean, but like there, for instance, like I would take that as like the mobile need. And I think that's where Nintendo went and stepped in the shoes. I think right now, like the next need to step up into would be VR, and there's so many players doing that right now. Even like Samsung or whatever is doing it for your phone and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've tried that. I have like someone at my old job gave me their old like headset because they said it made them sick, so they're like, here, you have it, and it works for a Samsung. And that's back when I had a Samsung. Now I got a Pixel 2, but and it's cool, but like the games are something like that I don't know, not even SNES conditions or something, or no, it is for the Pixel 2. Yes, right. No, I can use it for the Pixel 2, but it's not. I don't feel like the games are there that even though it looks pretty cool when you get in there, like you do feel like you get kind of lost when you take off the headset. You're kind of like, whoa, where am I? And you got to get adjusted for a minute. But I just don't think the games are there yet. So maybe when the games can get a bit more in depth, and whoever does that first probably will fill that role. But I think that's the next thing to fill, to be honest.
Right now, VR, I agree with what you said. The games aren't there, and the games that are good are like half an hour. But it's just right now it's too much of a gimmick, and to be honest, I don't really like VR yet. And if it does
Yeah.
go there, as a lot, the game like I can't think of a single game that's
It's
in
a
VR
gimmick.
that I wouldn't rather play just with the controller sitting in my chair. Like I don't want to be in there
Yep.
right now.
Well, there are a few things that I think about VR. I think, first of all, that Nintendo has set themselves up in a big way for the next step with the Switch and VR. They already have that interactive feature with the Joy-Cons. Like when you hold them in your hand, they vibrate. Like you can feel 2 ice in the cup or 3 ice in the cup. Or, like that sensitivity is there, and the Joy-Cons are there. They're just like the VR controllers, just a little smaller and more sleek, right? So all they need is a VR to like hook up to the Switch, and they're gold. Like
But so, do you want to play Breath of the Wild VR? I mean, do you want to
that
play
would
Mario
be
Odyssey
that.
VR?
I mean, Breath of the Wild, that would be kind of cool, but probably
Yeah.
not Odyssey.
Or you could play it with cardboard. I
Oh,
mean,
oh, I don't want.
I mean, the need was there. That Nintendo saw it. They were like,
Hey.
people need cardboard, and then they boom, done. It
Is
was
anyone
there.
making a system of cardboard yet? No, we have all these Amazon boxes lying around. Oh,
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But I mean, to Dragoness's point, she added some context here. If someone doesn't do the Battlefield and adding all the pay to wins, someone else is going to come along, and that someone else was Battlefront 2, right? I mean, Battlefront 2, I think, was a huge flop right out of the gates, just because everyone was like, wait, I just bought this 60, 70, whatever, how much game, and now if I actually want to play it, I got to keep paying. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, or like and Battlefield, that's Star Wars Battlefield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I actually I didn't know exactly what happened with that. I just knew that it was bad. and something about paying for like some of the content within it, like unlocking characters or something like that. Is that what happened?
I think so, and then maybe weapons or something. I don't know. I was super stoked for Battlefront 2, just because the first one, okay, going way back to the very first ones, I think on the 360, they
Right.
were amazing because it was like you could switch between people on the battlefield and you can control like how the whole flow of the battle and everything. And then they went to more of a first person shooter with when they like rebooted the franchise or whatever, and it was okay. But then, like with the promise of Battlefront 2 and all these new things that you're gonna be able to do, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. I can't wait. But then, as soon as it came out, I was like taking a look at like some of the blogs and stuff. And people were just like, don't stay away, don't do it. EA did their thing again, and then it's just like. I don't want to be poor off of one game. You know, look at Destiny. Destiny did the same thing where it was that service to play, right? And they had the capability. I read articles about this. They had the capability of blurring that line between console and PC even further, which we're seeing every day. You know, like with how powerful the consoles are nowadays, they are a PC. You install the games on there and you build up your library, similar to Steam. The line is very blurry, and Destiny had that ability to actually do cross-platform with Xbox playing with the PlayStation, and I think at that time it was Destiny 1, so it was going to be 360 with a PlayStation 4 or something like that potentially, or even on going PC to 360 or whatever. But they didn't want hardware to hardware to becoming like a big issue, just like how it's always talked about on the internets. And it's they didn't want the hardware to be such a big focal point of like whoever has the biggest hardware is going to win. But that's how it is, anyways. I don't know why that was such a big like scare for them, but yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know what the whole point of that rant was really, other than just to say the lines are blurry enough. But
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. And so Dragon has actually brought up another interesting point. So there's a lot of indie games coming out recently, and indie games um, almost specifically only have a platform on the PC. Steam definitely helps with that. There's probably a few other services like Steam where people can get indie games out, or like you can just put your indie game on, I don't know, on download on the internet and like do it that way. Um,
yeah,
you can't really do that on a console.
yeah, I've looked into that. Just the programmer in me is curious. I'm
Yeah,
like,
there you go.
how can I make more money? But to put a game on the Steam market, it would not be as difficult because you're not like to put a game on. I've not really looked at PlayStation, but Microsoft side, and you gotta kind of develop it with their API, their framework,
Yeah.
and it's got to conform to their rules. I mean, that's why when development studios, when they're like, "Oh, we're releasing this on the PlayStation," and they're like, "Well, why not do it on the Xbox?" It's like, well, we don't have a team dedicated to code it on the Xbox. And I'm not like the coding would probably be terribly different. I'm sure it's all C++ under the hood, but it's like I'm sure you still have to integrate with some sort of APIs to get it in on the console. And I don't think you have that with PC games. I think you just it just got to be submitted to the Steam store, and I'm sure they go through some sort of approval process, but it's way easier from what I understand.
Yeah. So Kirby, what are you bringing out of this conversation so far? Like, what's some of your opinions?
I agree. So one of the things you said initially was that PC is pretty much the only place for indie games, and that's mostly true. It does seem like I'll come back to this point, but it does seem like Nintendo slash the Switch is trying to be more indie friendly, especially if you look at like their Nintendo eShop. There's a
Sure.
bunch of indie games on there, not as much as PC, and kind of like Trell just said, going back to coding for everything. It was Steam. My understanding is you put in a request of your game on there, you have to pay some fee based on how big the game is or something like that, or it's based on something. And then as long as they do that, your game goes on there. If there's enough traction for it, it can be there as long as it doesn't like break any of the rules. So Nintendo's trying, but yeah, PC, I agree. PC is still, if you're an indie developer, the easiest way to put your game up. And even if you don't go through Steam, you can just have your own site set up and then just have your game up there for purchase and download. Not as much publicity, of course, if it's not on Steam, but still, PC is by far the easiest way to get your indie games out there. And
Can I interject?
yeah, please.
at least on a console though, when you go for an indie game, you know it's a finished product. It's not going to be like oh
Early
we're still in
access.
early access BS where it's just like oh
You're getting a whole other rant there.
yeah, I'm not going to get a game that's going to be promised to be done in a year and then it's like 5 years later, and you're like, whoa, dude, where's this game that I bought? It's just, at least I feel like it's a higher quality that that's getting signed off on when you go on a console for an indie game. Even Microsoft's got a lot of indie games on their store lately, which is cool. And sometimes
That's super true.
yeah, and then like with
Especially
the
Kickstarter.
the
Sorry, go
beautiful
ahead.
thing with like the Xbox, like the games with gold for the Xbox Live, you get like 3 games a month, or no, it's
Oh, yeah,
six.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
You get like because the first 15 days you get 3, and then the other you get 3 more, so it's like 6 games free a month. And sometimes you get some beautiful. That's how I got Dark Souls. I got Dark Souls on a free game, and that was a
Nice.
huge thing. That's what got me into it. And it was just like I just picked it up, and then I met this guy Kirby, and then I started not liking it anymore. But but I feel like at least there's a higher quality gate, I guess.
And I think we could really probably spend a whole podcast talking about indie games. So
Mhm.
we might want to stick more back to the topic, but yeah, it's definitely
That's fair.
and we can even talk about specific games that we might have experienced or tried out and been burned or been pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of cool stuff out there, and I try and keep my eye out on YouTube when people are like demoing stuff or get early access to things. So we'll get back to you guys on some of that stuff. It'll be pretty cool to get your opinions on some of those indie games and maybe even some recommendations for us to play on stream. The 3 of us all stream, so and we're always looking for games to play. So it'd be pretty cool to find a cool game to play. What about something I heard both of you mention was cross-platforming. So, like, for example, let's talk about one of the big ones. Minecraft has now gone the route of, like, you can pretty much play Minecraft on any device with any device. Okay? So, like, you can play the Better Together Minecraft on your tablet and play with somebody who's playing on the computer, as long as it's not Java Edition, which is what I prefer to play on. They've even like put out updates earlier for the Better Together just to attract people to be playing that version of the game. So they're really and there's other games that are doing that too. For example, Overwatch with Blizzard, you can play that on console or PC and play with each other with no problems.
Oh, really? I didn't know Overwatch was like that.
Yeah, you can play with people who are on the console. Uh,
Oh, wow.
I prefer to play on the PC with games like that because like it's harder to aim with a controller than it is with a mouse. Um,
That's fair.
but other people prefer it the other way for similar reasons. I mean, back to my Halo days, I was a pretty good shot with the sniper, and that might be muscle memory that I can't really repeat with the mouse. So um,
Mhm.
there's a lot of games that are starting to gravitate toward the closing that gap of PC versus console and saying
Right.
why not both?
Right. Yeah.
Which is I think smart, but not everybody's doing that, and I don't think everybody will do it. It's mostly going to be game developers rather than companies. You know what I mean? Like, and then like for example, Fortnite. Fortnite's a big hot topic right now. Like a lot of people are playing that game, and
Yeah.
PS4 is not letting anybody play Fortnite with the other systems or PC.
Which I don't really understand that, to be completely honest, like why they're doing that. I don't see how that benefits them.
Yeah, I don't. I think that would hurt them if anything.
Well, I mean, ultimately speaking, they want to keep their market, right? They don't want to be sharing with or competing with other systems, right? So like
They're
if
scared.
people want to play with PlayStation 4 people, they have to play it on the PlayStation 4, which means they have to purchase it for PS4. That's the difference, and it might hurt PS4 in some aspects, but what they're seeing is that they're investing in themselves rather than investing in cross-platforming. Because then they're like, say, then I don't need to buy a PS4 to play a specific game. I can just stay with my own console or my own PC and then be fine. The game companies don't care about that because games are made and profited by the people who make them for the most part. Um,
Right.
but it's up to those systems to make the decision whether they're going to share it or not. So that's a big part of PC versus console too. Is it's not just us that's making the decision; it's the companies that build these consoles, that build these machines. Um, and ultimately speaking, I guess Xbox has kind of a step up because PC is mostly like that's debatable, but PC is mostly Windows. There's people who have Linux and
Gaming on PC is pretty much as a fact Windows.
Right.
But yeah.
Right.
And Windows owns Xbox, so like it doesn't matter what side you're doing it on for the most part. They still want their Xbox to succeed, so they do some exclusivity on that. But you'll see a lot more games being shared with, like, for example, Steam or other things like that when it's an Xbox game.
Yeah. And then Dragon S asks, is it why not both, or is it compete head to head?
Yeah, that kind of touches on what I was saying earlier. Like with PS4, they don't want to compete.
Yeah, I honestly don't mind. Like if it came to me and it was like, would you mind playing if I was playing Destiny 2 still or whatever, and it was like it was still up in the air, like, would you mind if you got to play with someone that was on another console and I had like a 360? I mean, Destiny 2 is not even on the older consoles, but if it were, I guess, like if I was on a 360 and I was playing someone against a PS4, I'm not there at the competitive first-person shooter like I was back in the days of Halo, and where I probably would pitch controllers into walls because I was really into the competitiveness of that game. But for me, I don't mind it. I think it would just allow me to play with all my friends, and that'd be simple. If you are in the area of like you want to be competitive and you want to be the best, then you should probably look at getting the best console. Like, don't try to be the best on an old console, So I don't feel like there's a problem with cross-platforming.
The only argument I've heard against cross-platforming is really only for first-person shooters, and it's PC to console, because I won't say objectively, but there's, in my opinion, keyboard and mouse is much better for first-person shooters than a controller is, just because of how precise the mouse is. And that's the only real argument I've heard, is that PC players might have an advantage against controller users in that setup. But besides that, like Rocket League, there's no problems. But for first-person shooters, that's the one thing I've heard. Thoughts?
Right.
Well,
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's tighter controls. But again, if you have a problem with it, then just go to the PC. Or maybe you can have like a feature of like, you can detect when they have to have a plugged-in controller or something like that, and I don't know, you could probably get around that, but
just make it so you can just disable cross-platform if you really care. But
yeah.
Well, and a lot of games, like if you play them on your computer, you can play with a controller, so
yeah,
it doesn't really affect cross-platforming as much in that aspect, unless they don't have it where it detects the controller on the computer, which would be dumb. That would be a bad move.
that would be a bad move. That'd be really
So. I don't know, like, so I guess what it comes down to is where your loyalties are. Like, is it gameplay? Is it the type of games that you want to play? Or is it like something about like where you are in the moment in terms of advantage or whatnot? Like I had an N64. Like that was my first console growing up, and I fell in love with lots of Nintendo things because of that. If I had a PlayStation 1, I probably would be the same for PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of great games for PlayStation 1. I never actually got to own a PlayStation until 2 years ago when I finally got a PS2. But I still haven't really actually gotten to play it yet. I'm going to be fixing that this month, but
Do you have a capture card?
I do. I have a capture card. Remember I used to play a lot of Mario Maker.
See, Kirby, Wombat has a capture card.
Wow, I know I'm a trash streamer. That's cool. It's fine.
Kirby, do you know how much a capture card costs?
Oh, I think like 100 ish.
This was $60.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's like a game, you know?
Yeah, but then I could have bought a game. I mean,
Just do it.
so I want to say one of my favorite things about PC, and you guys can, I could be completely wrong on this point because I don't really play enough console, is that it seems like PC has a significantly higher amount of sales to get games at very low cost compared to console. And maybe I'm wrong, but between Steam sales, Humble Bundle, like Green Man Gaming, or all these other sites that sell games, there's almost always a sale going on. And you can often get games, I mean, maybe not new releases, but if you wait a few months, often get games that are like, I don't know, 33+% off. And it doesn't seem to be as prevalent on console, but maybe that's completely wrong. And I want to know what you guys think about that.
Well, there's always used games.
That's true. There are used games, I suppose.
That's
usually the route I go. I
Yeah.
usually go with the route of used games because, like, I mean, a lot of the games I'm wanting to get to are older in general, anyways. Like, very rarely am I playing a brand spanking new game. I think on but like, so I usually just go and find it on Amazon for like $5 or something.
Oh,
like,
well, that's fair then. I consider used games.
Yeah, but the problem with the used games is that you'll never play it anywhere near the time that it comes out.
Yeah. I mean, like, look when I was at Dead Space 2 and BioShock 2 trying to find that multiplayer.
Yeah.
There's just no one out there.
Right. Or for example, like say things that came out on the Wii U, if you wait too long, like you're not even going to be able to use some of the content, like Twilight Princess or Wind Waker HD, like both those HDs. There's content that was on Miiverse that you can no longer play, like you can no longer use.
wow.
So it's just like a collectible that you can't even use anywhere.
You
Which
had to
is-
bring up Miiverse. Oh, that's a little soft spot.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess one thing too with consoles is like since they're always upgrading to new things, they always have to worry about reverse compatibility. And like that is a very hot topic in terms of like people want to play their old games, and some people really hate companies remaking old games over and over just to get more money out of them, or to avoid reverse compatibility or whatnot. That's a whole topic in itself too, almost. But like it does play into this. Like I don't know. Like remember back when Xbox One wasn't gonna have any reverse compatibility with any Xbox 360 game at all.
And the internet riot.
Right. Xbox One almost died before it started because of all the things that they were rolling out. Like that you always had to have your Kinect connected to your Xbox One or it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
All
So,
kinds
like,
of decisions like that. And
the
like,
NSA was tapping into Xbox.
yeah, like people,
Big,
there was a lot of
big.
privacy concerns in there. But like with like PCs, the product, the parts that you have inside your PC continually upgrade. So you keep having to make your computer newer, but like that doesn't affect the games. The games just can keep rolling out. You just have to make sure you keep up with them. Whereas with a console, you have to almost buy in each time and make sure you're buying the most up-to-date thing, or you're gonna miss out on like I don't know, really good games that come out that like they're showcasing. And then some companies don't do that. Like Nintendo realized that if they had only made Breath of the Wild on the Switch and not the Wii U, they would have lost customers, a lot of
A
them,
lot.
because they had been promising that game like the entirety of the Wii U. And then when they realized the Wii U was dying or dead or they were killing it, like deciding to kill it, like I don't know if it was necessarily dead, it was just that they started realizing, oh, we're not making as much money as we thought, let's move on to the next thing.
Right.
And then they intentionally like put it on the ground and stomped on it a couple times. Miiverse. Miiverse. So it's, I don't know, like I guess that's one of the biggest factors for me is why I'm.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, Sorry, I lagged out there.
Oh, you're fine. One of the biggest
Uh,
factors for me for console versus PC is I almost prefer PC because I don't have to keep up with the gaming console, and I don't have to worry about having to trade in an old console to get a new console or something like that. Like if I need to upgrade a part, I can budget for that. But ultimately speaking, like it's not as big of a financial issue for me as say buying a whole brand new console, controllers, games, and so on. And generally the games on the PC tend to be cheaper. Like Steam sales going on right now. I just bought like 12 games
Yep.
for like $20.
Yeah, man, and this whole I know backward compatibility, like you said, could be a whole topic in its own, but man, you do bring up a really good point because a lot of times, like with backward compatibility takes a lot out of the new hardware that you could potentially put in there.
Absolutely it does.
I think the PS4 doesn't even support anything backwards, right?
It
But
doesn't.
then with the Xbox, with the Xbone, it does. I think just certain games, but in order to still be you're playing your favorite console games, then you're starting to build an arsenal of many consoles, right? And then yeah, you're the maintenance on that, like with many controllers and such. It you if you're the argument is price point on console versus PC, like at what point do you start equating all that in there as well? Because then it's like you're starting to get that console price tag starting to come up closer to the PC one.
It might be cheaper for like one console, but if you're gonna continue on, then it's not gonna be as. And it not
Right.
even these days, like consoles are like $600 when they come out, 500, $600.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like controllers are what 80 per.
They're insane. They're
Yeah.
like 70-ish bucks for a controller. Yeah, I was
So
looking at
if
PS4
you want
controllers.
like
Insane.
two, that's on 140. So 600 plus 140, that's 740. You get three games. They're both at $60 to $80 each, right?
Yep.
What is it for PS? Is it 60 or 80?
For a controller?
No, for a game.
Oh, 60 still.
Okay. Yeah, because they were starting to push like the pricing of games too, like pushing them up. 60 is like almost too much already, and then they were pushing it higher than that, like to trying the 70 or trying the 80, just to see what they can do for that. But so say we get three games, so that's about even with $1,000, almost.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh.
Plus, if you want a TV that's compatible with your system, sometimes you're gonna have to upgrade your TV. Um, what's
Yeah, well, I mean, and then I guess 4K could be another topic in its own,
right?
but I don't buy into that yet. Like I'm still on the 1080p HD, and I'm like, that looks fine to me. I don't as far as it goes with like needing to get like 4K monitors for PC or 4K TV for the consoles. I'm like, that argument doesn't sway me either way. I think I think a monitor would be cheaper than a TV. I don't know. I haven't looked at those price points because again, I'm not interested in 4K at the moment. But that one doesn't even equate to me right now for the argument.
I'll have to look.
So I
So
haven't
okay, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I haven't heard from Kirby in a while. I was just gonna say.
Well, I was actually just following up. I was googling what Trell mentioned, like a 4K monitor. We'll come back to this, but I was just curious. 4K monitor versus I don't know how much a 4K TV is now, but a 4K monitor is like 300. I don't know how much a
Oh,
4K TV
okay.
is.
4K TV is way more.
Like 600. Yeah, 600 plus. We'll say, depending on how big you want it to be. But um,
So I mean that you could argue is needs to be equated in if you were getting like the newest Xbone, which is what Xbone S or Xbone X or
The X now, yeah,
X.
Xbone X.
Oh right, because now they're like the acronym is now Xbox again or something like that. They're so clever. They, but I mean, if you are wanting to utilize those things, you have to equate that into the price tag, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, it, you guys are making me think about PC. Jesus. What am I doing with my life?
I still stand by my point that I still believe console's easier, but PC, in my opinion, is nicer, better.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I for what I do outside of gaming as well. I would like a pretty beefy PC just for development purposes, but you could almost argue that that's what a Mac's for, though. I think Mac's better for professional.
Hey, William.
Oh.
So
Williams versus mobile.
yeah, versus mobile should be another topic in there.
I don't like mobile.
I don't. Well, I guess we did touch on mobile a little bit, William, earlier, in terms of like Nintendo buying into that whole thing being the Switch being very mobile.
Yeah, we did touch base on that, but I mean, if you're talking about like mobile phones,
And he's also probably talking about like tablets, and tablet gameplay is a big thing now.
that's true. I mean, those have come a long way since the God, what did I have? Like back in the day, I had a Razer phone and it had snakes on it, and I thought that was like, I was like, oh my God, it can't get any better. And then you look at it now, you got Temple Run and you got Candy Crush, which just sucks everyone's wallet dry apparently, and I wish I would have thought of that idea years ago, because it's such a simple concept.
I mean, you can play Minecraft on mobile. Like,
Yeah, oh, that's true. Like, okay,
there's
so even
actual
away from just, like,
games
the
that you can
normal
play,
swipe
not just
games.
those like swipe games. Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a full-blown first-person shooters.
Right.
I mean, the controls
You can play
are
Fortnite
absolute
on mobile.
garbage, but the controls are absolute garbage. But yeah, you do have those capabilities. If you're sitting at a bus stop and bored,
Right.
you can sit there and use the bottom left corner to move around and get wrecked. But it's cool.
So
But yeah, I think mobile I think it's there when you're bored.
It's-
I don't know if it really can equate to a comparison between console and PC yet.
I agree with that.
Other than it's just there when you're bored and you have it when you're mobile.
Yeah, mobile games are too. This can be a whole other topic. Mobile games are too pay to play a lot of the time. I'm not saying all of them are, but a lot of them like, oh, you ran out of sunshine juice. If you want to go to the next level, you got to buy more crystal gems, and then you can keep playing, or you can just wait 3 years. Then it's fine.
you guys are talking more about gimmick games that are designed to that are
That's
loosely
mobile.
designed. It's not just all that. That is like the popular market, but there are like for example, Pixel Dungeon, if you've ever played that, that's a great game. There's a lot of other games like that, where they're expanding. It's definitely something that we're going to see more and more. I mean, like Fortnite just on the phone, it just shows you what the future is going to hold. It's just a matter of it happening. So we'll see. I mean, ultimately speaking, everybody has a phone. Phones are like as powerful as computers these days, almost. So
I agree. I think there's a lot more to come out of mobile gaming. Like we touched upon that earlier too with VR.
right.
I
Yeah,
definitely
VR
think
capable. Yeah.
it's and then I think the biggest thing that what you could do is just having mobile interact with the games you have, and that's where mobile is really going to be the biggest player. Is look at the new Pokemon games, and then you're just going to make it interact with Pogo and things like that. You start bringing your phone.
Pokemon Go, yeah, that's another one that we hadn't
You start
mentioned.
bringing that into your daily use of your PC or your consoles, and that means you're always plugged into that game. That's where it's going to be huge.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I guess I shouldn't go ahead.
I guess-
Dragonist has a point. As long as the battery holds out, then it'll be huge.
I mean, the battery, like for example, the Switch. How long does that last? 4 hours, 3 hours, something like that.
3 to 4, yeah.
Something like that. Which isn't bad.
And controllers, like they only last a certain amount of time unless you plug them in. Like
They're a bit longer than the system itself, but yeah, I think well, the Switch Pro control is actually really damn good. I swear that thing lasts like tens of hours, like I don't know, like 30 plus. It seems like.
Dude, and it feels so good. Like can we just talk about the Pro controller for a little bit? Like, it feels so good. Like
we'll have a podcast specifically on each type of
of
company.
controller.
No, like we'll talk about Nintendo and like the pros and cons of Nintendo, stuff like that or something.
Like the N64 controller with the 3 handles. What were they thinking?
Oh man, we could do a whole thing on controllers. That would be cool.
You could.
I'm serious. That would be actually kind of a neat topic, and I I have a ton of controllers here, so we
There
we
you go. There you go. You can bring out the brick and the bone and the old the 64.
I have Xbox, like original Xbox controllers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. I think I found one in a store, like a used one the other day, and I picked it up. I was like, oh, how is this comfortable?
It was at the time. It was at the time.
Yeah.
Um,
We've evolved as human beings.
well, Dragonus, I don't sell my old stuff. Like, I just keep it because, rather than worry about reverse compatibility, that way I can go back and play something if I want to. But also,
No,
like,
this is a safe place. We can talk about your hoarding problem here. This is safe.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I do have a problem.
As he looks around his room and sees all his games.
All of us. Oh no. Yeah. It'll be okay.
Most of those are Xbox games up there. Um, like that whole shelf, and then half of that shelf is all Xbox.
Okay, so
360.
I mean, I guess to kind of like bring this back home, I feel like you guys are right in that PC probably has the edge. I would feel. I just do consoles, I guess, for my limitations to doing gaming and streaming at the same time. And then and then I guess there's some exclusives on the consoles that I like to get, and other than that, I'm already invested, so I'm just sticking with it. But Kirby, you just recently invested in the PS4.
Yeah, like a week. Not even how it was like Monday. Yeah.
Like, why? I guess why?
So the two big games I wanted were Spyro, the new Spyro remaster. It'll eventually come to PC, I think, just because Crash Bandicoot did. But more so, I really, really want to play Kingdom Hearts 3 because it
Oh,
looked
I
amazing.
thought you were gonna say Bloodborne. Wow.
Oh, Bloodborne, yeah, Bloodborne was there, right? But I liked it, but not as much as I like Kingdom Hearts 3. I did get Bloodborne. I haven't played it yet. I love Souls games, but I really, really love Kingdom Hearts as well. And 3 looks
Wow.
amazing, and it's been like 8 years because they announced it way too early. But
Okay.
that was the main reason, was
So-
there were enough exclusives for it to be worth it. What was that?
Okay. Exclusives.
Yeah, that's the only reason I would do it, right? That's the exact reason why. Well, I bought an Xbox One earlier this year. I just sold it for the PS4. But the point is, I only bought it from Monster Hunter World, which is eventually coming to PC anyway. But I played it with friends, and then I realized Xbox didn't have any other games. But that's not the point of this debate. The point is, I bought a PS4 strictly because there were enough games I couldn't play on PC that I really wanted to play.
That's
So,
fair. I mean, that really is a point, though. I mean, like, if you don't think it has enough games, then the PC does. That's kind of the point in itself.
I also see like a trend with consoles too. Like, honestly, like the biggest reason people buy a console is because of specific games. So the consoles, in order to keep that edge, need to continually make sure that they're supporting their different properties and properly, and making sure that they're putting out games that people want to invest a whole console in just to get. Like Mario Maker is why I have a Wii U. Like.
That it's ditto.
Well, and the promise of the future Zelda game that we eventually got, but like that was the biggest draw for the Wii U, and once the Wii U died, Mario Maker started to die too, and then once the Switch came out, it took about 6 months. Once they stopped supporting stuff, they buried it pretty badly. And now there's still people that play Mario Maker, but like Kirby just bought a whole console just because of 1 or 2 games. Like,
Yep.
you see, like, it's just an interesting. We don't all have the same consoles, Dragonus. Like, I don't have any newer PlayStation or newer Xbox, and Kirby has the PlayStation and
PS4 Switch, yeah.
yeah. Oh, and you have a Switch too. That's right. I think all 3 of us have Switches, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, who doesn't have a Switch?
I always buy Nintendo consoles. Even though I say I'm pro PC, I always buy Nintendo consoles.
It took me a while to get a Wii U, actually.
See, and that's the mobility of the Switch, though. I think that alone, because like they when the Switch came out, there was no games that really would just drop. Well, okay, the Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, I guess, could really. But you get Breath of the Wild on Wii U, so Odyssey, I guess, could be the one that sucked people in. But when I saw the commercials that you could just take it anywhere, I was like, done. I'm getting it,
And
That
then
was
Do
the
you
biggest
actually
thing for me.
use yours mobile though? Another topic.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
You didn't take yours to Germany?
I've literally never undocked my Switch.
Honestly, I haven't ever docked mine.
Bro, do you even switch? That's like, oh
I
my
don't like
gosh.
I don't like handheld gaming very much. To be honest. Again, another point. 3DS is
Right,
cool,
right,
but I
right.
play it sitting down anyway.
So that's one of the reasons why you probably aren't really considering the mobile scene too, is because you're not really too
Yeah.
fond of mobile gaming. Um, so yeah, that's actually an interesting thing that we could get into sometime. I know we keep saying, oh, we should probably be writing these down, but ultimately speaking, like I the Wii U really converted me in terms of handheld gaming. Like not that I played a Game Boy back in the day, the original, all the time. Like Donkey Kong was my jam. But
The big fat one, is that what you're talking about?
yeah, the big fat one.
Yeah.
And like with the Wii U, I never really had it hooked up to the TV. And I really liked that you could have it hooked up and play on the gamepad rather than the TV, because then my wife could watch like Netflix and I could you know
Hmm.
game next to her and we could be watching the
Yeah,
same thing while I'm gaming, stuff like that.
exactly.
And,
Exactly.
and then road trips, yeah, like it's more portable. You can still play it even if you don't have a TV with you, things like that, which is great. Um, but some people argue that that's the time when you shouldn't be playing games. Like when you're out and like sitting in an airport or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
but socializing's overrated. I mean,
so I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons, and like a lot of factors to consider. With like, I don't think any one of us are like PC versus console. Like we're kind of a mixed bag, all three of us, for different
yeah.
reasons and for different types of games. Like honestly, I would love to have a PS4 just because I've played The Last of Us and I think that's an amazing game. Um, I had a roommate that had the PS4 and I played it before he moved out. And like the only reason I've played Kingdom Hearts is because I had another roommate who had Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and a PS at the time. So like there is a draw and it is strong, and they need to keep it strong in order to succeed and to keep people invested. But like that's all those companies do. Like that's what their job is really, to bring out these games and to hit on these franchises that we can't get other places. Um,
Mhm.
and there's some that are cross-platform, but that's usually the company that makes them's choice.
What do you think? What do you think that does for the company that creates those games? They like a super fat paycheck to to stay because like for them they would make more money by selling across distributed platforms, but they must be getting a fat paycheck or something just to stay exclusive.
I think the biggest companies are cross-platform because they can afford to do it. They have the ability to make it for multiple platforms rather than just one. But yeah, there is probably some sort of loyalty uh, bonus or ownership, even. Like Windows bought, like for example, Bungie to make sure that they didn't go cross-platform,
Right.
Mhm.
and then they ended up deciding to make them cross-platform, which is weird.
Yeah.
Or no, they didn't buy Bungie. They bought three. They made three
They
four
bought
three.
the Halo franchise. Now
Right.
it's what 343 Studios.
Yeah.
So they were making sure they were locking in Halo to stay on there, even though when was they didn't even announce. No, no, they did kind of do a teaser of Halo at E3. So
Yeah. Halo Infinity, which is going to be like almost like a Skyrim Halo.
oh my god,
It's like
I don't
a
know.
Yes.
I'm kind of over. I'm over Halo and I'm over Call of Duty and
they're still cranking out Gears of Wars, which was interesting too.
I
Um,
never liked Gears.
I liked it. I liked the series. We're getting way off topic, but yeah, yeah. There's definitely draws to different games and franchises, and like those are two examples. Gears and Halo are two examples of that's a company that owns those games, and they're still trying to crank out stuff for the loyalty. Like people are like, oh, the next Gears game looks awesome. I'm gonna buy this console because I can't wait to play it. You know what I mean?
Right. Mhm.
Or like, oh man, it's a prequel to all the games. I want to see what the world looked like before Gears of War. That sounds really cool. So like, I don't know, like whether it's your cup of tea or not, they're still hitting that. They're trying to hit that market.
Yeah. So just looking like briefly at a couple blogs and stuff like that, at some of the big touch points between these, and this kind of reiterates over a lot of things that we've been kind of saying already. But like when choosing between a console or a PC game, this is like just top Google searches. A lot of people consider price, uh, game selection, which I think we hit those both.
Yeah.
Uh, graphics. What let me see, 4K solutions, blah blah. We kind of touched upon that. I think graphics are pretty much the same, though, in my opinion.
I don't know about
Well,
that. I think graphics card on the PC can be better. Uh, than because a
yeah,
console they have to upgrade the system just to make it better. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think like in what I mean by they're pretty much the same is like if we're talking that mid range like 1K to potentially higher 1K, maybe even 2K price range of a PC, I think you're gonna get the same amount of graphics out of a console. I think if you went heavy price on the PC, then you would see the benefit. Does
Right.
that make sense? Or
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
then
makes
what
sense.
else is in here? Tech literacy, and then I think you said this, Kirby, and I think you did too, Wombat. Of like, console's easy. You don't like with a PC. You gotta, not only are you sitting there and making sure that you sometimes like because Windows will completely screw up your life, and you'll hate.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, Windows update, and all of a sudden nothing works. I mean, look at me. I couldn't even get my webcam to work yesterday.
Yeah,
And
we
then,
had some technical difficulties getting the stream started.
yeah, but and you gotta have virus software and all this other crap and stuff like that. Where a console, you just plug in, done.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so tech literacy right there. You could sit a little kid in front of a console and they wouldn't have to sit there and figure out all these different things with an operating system.
You got download drivers. You gotta
Yeah.
maybe if you want to build it, that's not gonna be. No, I agree. It's console's 100% easier.
And
Yep.
before I built my computer a year ago, guess what I had? I had
What'd
a
you have?
I had a Mac.
Ooh.
Mac. Ooh.
Yeah, which I mean, Mac versus PC is a whole nother debate. But like with gaming, it doesn't really work very well. There's not
Yeah.
a lot of games that are supported on Mac.
And then the last point here is multiplayer, which let me just briefly read this and get the Spartan notes.
Yeah, I guess multiplayer is a big thing too. Like if you want to play with your friends, generally speaking, it's easier to play on console with friends.
Is it though? Because I mean, are you talking online or
Yeah,
like
online.
local? Online.
Local, it's probably kind of a mixed bag because it's just a LAN connection, but
I feel like local is dying. I don't feel like you can. Most games don't have local like
you
split screen anymore, do they?
I
that's
hate
that's
it. No,
true.
they don't.
Like for
Yeah.
example, Halo 5 when it came out, it didn't have split screen.
Which I feel like that's kind of hurting consoles in some ways because you have to
Well,
now have two consoles, two copies of the game, two
right.
controllers, two TVs. It's just like whoa,
It,
man.
will- it, so Nintendo being marketing for the family, they always have the split screen option or games that all the whole group is in one screen. Like for example, Mario Party, um, or like even like Super Smash Brothers. It's all on one screen. Um, whereas the other consoles, they're more about like people who aren't really playing in the same room as much as they are with people across the world. So with that, like they're almost expecting you to have two consoles, like the other person that you're playing with isn't next to you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Right.
that's actually like ultimately speaking. Um, let's talk about. I'm not gonna like get too much into this, but like I bought a board game that I really wanted to play with people.
Oh, which one?
Settlers of Catan.
Oh, that game's great.
It's a
That's
great
my
game.
favorite board game. Yeah, it's a great game.
Never heard of
Um,
it.
oh really? We'll
It's
teach
like
you.
the stereotypical board. Like, no, it's like the intro to board games that aren't Monopoly and Yahtzee.
Now, granted, this was a couple years ago that I bought this
Yeah.
because
Sorry, continue your story though.
I bought it so that I could play with people, and I literally have not gotten to play it more than like 3 or 4 times because there's not a lot of people that I can get together with in person. But like, I've actually looked to try and find a Settlers of Catan online that I can play cross the internet with somebody, and there isn't one. Like,
Wait, there isn't a whole.
no,
Really, there's not.
there isn't. Like, you can.
Guys, I got a great idea to make us lots of money.
Yeah. So Rose plays that game online pretty frequently. I'll have to ask her about it. I could be lying.
Well, if it is, then
Oh,
it's like a
lying again.
bait. It's like you have to pay for something or another. Like,
Maybe I'll ask her about it. But
but
anyway,
Just
okay,
try.
yeah.
like
Like we would.
I tried to play it and like I tried downloading one on Steam and like I couldn't only play against computers and stuff like that. Like, yeah. Sorry, Charlie, you were gonna say something.
I mean, this is probably off topic, but I was like, you should try streaming that, and then, but you'd have to be like moving the pieces or whatever for people
For
to sell.
everybody, right? Yeah, and then like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not looking at your cards. Here's what
Oh
you
yeah, they
have.
have card. Yeah, I'm not looking
Yeah,
at.
you're like holding the cards at the screen, and you're like, I'm not looking. Tell me
Which
what you want
1,
me to
2,
do.
3, 4? Which one of these do you want to do something with?
The only way that would
Yeah.
really work is if like you had a game and I had a game, and then we both played. Kind of like having you having a console and I have a console and we're both playing. You know.
Right.
So
Interesting.
bringing it back, bringing it back. um, so I guess we could summarize a bit. Like I think Troll, you were starting to do that by looking at blogs and seeing if we hit on all the major topics.
Yeah.
So Troll, you seem to yeah. I hate Monopoly. We can have a board. We can have a board game stream. We'll talk about board games someday. Uh, we have to find topics where one of us or at least disagrees, and then we can have like a hearty debate.
Yeah.
But
Like,
so if you guys have any topics, just the Discord is, and I'll just link that now. You can always type in the Discord any suggestions you guys might have for topics.
8 years to play Monopoly. Jesus.
It does. I swear to God, it's like 8 play sessions, 1 year each. Anyway,
But ultimately speaking, Trell, you seem to be pretty moved by some of the topics we were talking about. So why don't you first go over like what changed in this conversation for you?
I think I definitely. I mean, like I never was like either or. I think at the end of this, I still am pretty open to anything. But I guess like this is like this is I enjoyed this. This was good like reflection, right? And I definitely
Introspection.
think, yeah, and I definitely think. I guess the question that was like in my mind was why do I buy consoles? And I think I mean I can afford I could afford a brand new spanking PC or whatever, you know, like I just won't eat for a month, it's fine. But no,
I mean, I
yeah,
saved like a little bit every month until I could buy it.
no, and that's what I like. You know, I have bills to pay, and
Right.
Kayla spends all my money, and then I buy diapers, and that's where the rest of my money goes. But like I could definitely buy a new PC or something. I just don't because I keep kind of going with what I have on consoles. But I think like trying to look at why do I really stay on consoles, and I think it's just for the exclusive games. I think that's it. And there's not many on the and when it comes to like exclusive games, I'm on the wrong console because the Xbone doesn't have jack for exclusives compared
I
to.
was gonna ask you that.
So I'm doing it wrong basically.
Well, if you ever do decide to get a new computer, Kirby and I can both help you build one. And then you can buy Dark Souls Remastered, and we can all go through Dark Souls together.
Oh
Yep.
man, that'd be so good.
Yeah.
That's what I ended up building Kayla's sister's PC. Like was that a year ago or something now? And she loves
Rip
it.
Dragons.
She played Witcher 3 on it, and I think she mostly plays WoW on it, which I got out of MMOs. But you know, I think I ended up making it around high 1,000 something for her. And she was fine with that, and she's completely happy, even though she mostly just plays WoW, which really like a $500 PC could probably play WoW, but at least she's got like top tier graphics for that WoW stuff. So.
Yeah, people were giving me shit when I built my new computer, and then I only played Minecraft.
yeah. Those bricks look so bricky. Oh man. I was saving for a new PC, bought half the parts, then TwitchCon got announced. There goes my budget. Yeah,
Yep.
IRL
Ask,
comes first.
ask for a
Exactly.
Taco Bell PC.
Oh, I do. I need to ask my sponsors for a
You know.
PC. It should have like a little tray that comes out and serves like a crunch wrap on just when I push a button or
That's what
something.
the disk drives are these days. That's what they're for.
Yeah.
Yep.
They heat up your fajitas.
That was probably one of the very first like programs I wrote back in high school. Was like you this button would show up on your screen. And it was like you want a drink carrier or like a whatever, and all of a sudden it would just open up your disk drive. And it was just like I'm so cool.
Ugh.
Kirby, so what did you take away from this?
Um,
Anything?
No,
Nothing?
no, for sure. I mean, I still my main points were that I prefer PC due to the sheer number of games I have on there and the sales. Now, given I didn't really consider pre-owned games as much of a thing, because on PC you don't really buy pre-owned games, right? You just buy digital copies. Physical copies are a thing, just not very popular. So I kind of forgot pre-owned games were a thing.
Especially now
Regardless,
that computers don't really have disk drives anymore. Like CDs are
yes,
like almost
yeah,
gone completely.
is now. So, the only reason I would buy consoles is what Trell says for exclusives. I mean, because there's games on console that I can't play on PC, and that's exactly why I bought a PS4. But at the same time, I would still say, like, I don't know, 75% of my playtime is going to be on PC just because that's where all my games are. Because for me, I like the freedom of it and how customizable it is, even if it is a pain in the ass to get set up in the first place.
Sure.
Right. And then, on top of that, like the customizable, I want to touch on that just a little bit. If you look at Fallout or Skyrim, it's probably perfect examples.
Talking
Modding
about
in that.
mods, yes. You know,
Yep, you can
Yeah.
mod in that super easily. And that's not even a thing in the console world. You can't even pop open the console and
Right, you
like,
avoid the
you just feel like-
warranty. Yeah.
yeah. It's like so. Like if you I mean like you can't even open up the little like command line feature in on those games because it's like if you but where in the PC you can do that, you can enter cheat codes or whatever. So it's just like and there's those are the two games that come off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's probably like a ton more that are.
Left 4 Dead's a big one.
Is it really?
Yeah, you have people running around as Power Rangers fighting Teletubbies. I'm not joking. Like, it's
I'm
Great.
getting a piece. I'm getting a new PC now. I want to see this. Is there? Oh, dude. Oh.
I got. Hold on, just I'll link you.
I was about to ask you for a YouTube link.
Well, and
back on topic.
Well,
It's just- I feel like that's another thing customizable. I think we didn't
Sure.
touch on that.
yeah, like games are a lot more interactive with the user when it's on PC because it can be edited. For example, like say I'm building Dark Souls 3 and Minecraft. That's a big project that I've been working on for a while. I wouldn't be able to like mod my game to float around to look at things if if I was on the console. I still haven't been able to do that yet, but like I have that option. That's something that's not even an option. Or like for example, Trell, you talked about how you broke your save file for Dead Island because you tried to modify it on the console and you didn't quite work. So
Rip Dead Island playthrough.
thank you.
Oh my god! I see. Kirby, I love these videos.
I'm telling you, get it. Get a PC.
I will.
Play Left 4 Dead with Wombat and I, and we'll do stupid mods like this. It'll be great.
The Power Rangers with chainsaws, awesome.
You can be Shrek. You can pretty much. There's ones where you're Velociraptors. I mean, this is just dumb. It's whatever you want, whatever people are willing to
Oh my
make.
God.
So.
I've seen like the ones on Skyrim where it's like tons of tank engine that
Oh,
just
he, like-
breathe fire on you and
Oh, yeah.
waste.
And the music's going do 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 do.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. See, that's what you get on PC. You get stupid crap like that.
Oh, there's also like
with PC.
well, there's also like mods to like make things even more realistic or to improve the game further than
They're
the
all ridiculous.
like there's
Right, like
pros
they
and
brought
cons.
out- They brought out Skyrim HD for the console, and all the PC people were like, "That's cute. We've had that for years."
Yeah. I don't know, for me, like I feel like I'm still strongly in both camps, but ultimately speaking, like I'm surprised by how much I've enjoyed having a PC that actually is new and works. Because I've like even with new gen consoles, I've always been behind. So it's like nice to actually be able to play new games that come out when they come out and like play
Mhm.
them. Because like if
Right.
they have their requirements are really good graphics, like I wouldn't have even been able to play them. Like so
Right.
it's all about where you want to spend your money to be up to date, so that you can play the things that you want to play. And I
Exactly.
feel
Yeah.
like with PC, you get more bang for your buck, but you sacrifice um, having the ability to play everything. Um,
Yes. Yeah. I can see that. I
but
mean,
and here's another thing. There's also something called ROM hacks.
Yeah.
oh man, I didn't even consider ROM
I didn't
hacks.
even think about that till right now,
Oh man, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
which
Dude,
opens up a
that's
lot of
huge.
the games that
Yeah.
you couldn't play for older games. But like, there's not ROM hacks of like, say, like not The Last of Us, for example. There's no ROM hack of that, I don't think.
Right.
I'm sure somebody's tried and maybe it is, but like that's like illegal. So
Well, I mean, like take a look at like I mean, obviously like there's the ROM hacks of Mario and stuff like that, but going further, and this is almost tilts. This almost brings it back, the dial back onto the PC side, because I know that ROM hacks also kind of was like, ooh, that brings it to the consoles. But think of the was it Project 64 emulator that you can run on the PC, and you can just be playing like Majora's Mask on your
Yeah.
PC.
Of course.
I mean, like so the capability is also there to just also have an emulator on your PC, which
I
is
would
kind of
say,
like
I mean, reliable. You can emulate up to like Wii. I don't know how much like the Wii, third generation or the hell generation, like Wii, Xbox 360, and PS2. I
I
guess.
think I think Wii U
Or
actually
Xbox.
maybe even
It
there's
might.
some new soup
I went pretty
stuff, yeah.
I went pretty far with that. Like I got the Dolphin emulate. I think it's called Dolphin emulator,
Yeah, yeah,
and
Dolphin.
I was able to hook up the Wii remote to my laptop and everything like that. But the only bad part was this is where you start. This is that tech literacy that starts coming into play again. Because uh, it wouldn't work with the Bluetooth adapter in my laptop because it was a different adapter that was compatible with the Wii remote or whatever. So I couldn't use a Wii remote. Therefore, there was no point even having the Dolphin emulator anymore, unless I
Mhm.
bought like a brand new Bluetooth adapter. But like the capability is there, even though you high tech literacy needed.
So if we take away the whole pricing thing, it seems like there's two categories for pros and cons, or like that make the big difference. There's compatibility in terms of like games that you can play, so like access, and then there's knowledge of the system that you're running. So like
Mhm.
knowing how to fix problems on your computer if there is one. There is things like Google and things like that, or like building the computer at all is like I thought that was going to be an insurmountable thing on its own. Like I never thought I'd be able to like build my own computer. Like I had no experience on it, but like I had a friend help me, and it was almost like following Lego set instructions.
Hmm.
Like you just plug in things, and then like if there's a problem, that's when I needed his help, which we did inevitably have one or two, but like it's actually a lot simpler than like it's just getting over the decision and then like doing the research. And some people don't either have time, money, patience,
Yeah.
or like they might read instructions and like some people have problems with Lego sets. Like sometimes step-by-step instructions just don't make sense to people. So
Right.
like console, I think the biggest thing is what type of gamer are you? Um, is what it comes down to. Are you a casual gamer, or are you more interested And like, I don't mean casual as in like casual versus professional gamer. Like, that's a whole nother category. But like, I mean casual in terms of like, yeah, I play once in a while and I kind of like these types of games and that's pretty much it. Like, I don't really care about having variety. I just want to play for these specific games. And that's where console really shines because like, you don't need to know anything. Your games are right there and you can invest in it and have those games for X amount of years, 3, 4 years till they come out with a new console. Whereas with PC, there's a lot more interactivity, but you also need to be more involved in the process. So it's more like how much time do you want to put into your gaming experience? I think is what it comes down to.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that also kind of goes back to the like not only the frequency but the type of games, and then you could almost bring back to like the you know, the exclusives being on certain consoles or whatever. I mean, like if you're a casual gamer, and by that, like to your terms, like just you just play every once in a while, but you really like to control everything of everyone's lives, and you're a complete person of Sims 4 or whatever. I mean, just probably get it on the PC, right? Do they even have it on consoles or anything? Or?
I don't know. I don't think so.
But I mean, like that. I you know, I even though we. So let me ask you guys, like, because you both seem to be like definitely like married to your PCs. Would you ever not?
Yeah, share a
Would you
bed
ever?
with it.
Would you would you ever stop buying consoles?
As long as consoles keep making good, well, okay. Two things. I'll always buy Nintendo consoles until they stop making Mario and Zelda games. In terms of PlayStation and Xbox, the day they stop making exclusives I care about will be the day I stop buying them, and that's as simple as it is.
That's how they get you. Those exclusives.
If they keep them good exclusives, I'm gonna keep buying them. I mean, most of my
That's-
gaming time won't be spent there, but I'm gonna keep buying them.
Right. That's where they gotta look. They gotta look at making a service. They gotta make a service to help you come on board and
Yeah.
keep you there. Because if it's just the games, like who's to say that the developer will stay true to that console? You know.
Yeah, I mean, like if Kingdom Hearts and Spyro were coming to PC, I would have not bought a PS4, or especially Bloodborne. I just wouldn't. There's no point.
Is Bloodborne only console?
It's only
Only-
PS4 actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
You know,
Oh, well, shoot.
so I had to do it.
I guess I can't play that game.
For now. I mean, it might come to PC because like Neo did, and that was originally a PS4 exclusive, but I wouldn't count on it.
Isn't Demon Souls only PS?
That's only PS3 or 2, whatever. But yes, it's not PC.
I think
is
it's
the point.
2 probably.
Damn.
It's
man,
always
I'm gonna
3
get-
actually. I thought it was 2 as
I'm
well.
gonna
One
get a
bad. but it's 3.
PlayStation.
Oh, it is 3. Damn.
Demon Souls is PS3. It came out 2009.
Have you ever played the Demon Souls?
No, I haven't. My friend has one. Has it, not has one. But I haven't gotten around to playing it yet. I eventually have to because it's Souls game.
I know.
Yeah, but
Dang.
they don't relate.
They're different.
They're
universes.
different entities, yeah. They
Yeah, Demon
just
Souls is not Dark Souls, yeah.
right. It would be interesting if it was some sort of multiverse or something, but
And Bloodborne's in there too, and then Neo's in there, and then
a lot of
yeah.
people think that is Neo from FromSoft?
Nope.
Okay, I didn't think
Nope,
so.
it's separate.
So yeah,
The new one that's from Soft coming out, isn't it?
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
yeah.
Shadows Die Twice.
And then there's also Neo 2, which I'm gonna have to get both. But hopefully, see, that's another reason I need a PS4 because those are gonna come out. Well, Neo 2 will be on PS4. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah, so I don't know if I would ever stop buying consoles or not. Or I might stop buying consoles because of money, but not because of desire.
Sure.
Like I want an Xbox One, but I can't justify the cost.
right.
I want to play Halo 5, and that's about it. You know, like I can't justify 600, 300, whatever dollars just to get a console for one game, which is what they're trying to get me to do. Like the consoles, that's what they want me to do, but like I can't afford that. Whereas with the PC, the reason I didn't buy a console and I got the PC instead is because like there's all these games that I want to play that are available on PC or console. I'm gonna do the PC because that'll allow me to stream and do the games that I want to do.
Yeah.
Whereas a console, like you can stream on a console, and that was a very smart decision that they did. It's not as tangible but it's definitely something that they've done. Like you can stream Xbox One games directly from your Xbox One, which is really cool. And if you have a Kinect, you can even have a video set up. So that's neat.
Mhm.
But yeah, Charlie, you didn't even know that, did you?
No, no, you could use the Connect on the PC.
Oh no, no, on the Xbox One.
Oh, the Connect on the Xbox One?
You can stream on the Xbox One.
Oh no, yeah, I did know that. I have used that the Twitch app. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used that. It sucks.
It does suck, but
OBS is way better.
it's really cool that you can still, if you don't have a computer, you could still stream. You know?
Yeah, that is. I mean, that opens it up pretty. And I never used the Mixer app, but I'm sure that they've probably enhanced that to be better than the Twitch app. I'm sure just because it's Microsoft's flavor of streaming, but it's cool that that's available because yeah, like you said, that takes the equation of a PC and capture card out of it. So in that you at least could still be making those mad bits off of Twitch and for your mad console gameplays. Not that Kirby would know what mad console gameplays is, but
No, not at all.
Kirby is sinking lower and lower in his screen. So I believe that our time is almost out. Kirby's our hourglass.
I lose. I'm not great at streaming long. I lose focus quickly.
So tell us what you think. Did we hit on your topics? Did we miss on something? Maybe we can come back to this at another time. William, maybe give us more about some mobile stuff that you think about. Maybe we can even have a whole mobile stream.
yeah.
Heck, we could even do it from our phones just to be kitschy. We could be on our phones streaming just because we're talking about mobiles.
Yeah.
But ultimately, yeah, tell us what you have to say, what you think about the stream. This is a new thing for us, and hopefully we'll continue it. Probably will be what you guys think Sundays is a good day.
I think so.
Wait.
That works.
Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, Sunday morning-ish. As
Sunday
long as it's
morning,
early, that's the only requirement. Yeah.
Yeah, so Sunday
Yeah,
morning
that
podcast,
works
maybe
fine.
like every other week or something like that. We'll see.
Sure.
So if you guys like what you saw, leave a like, subscribe, give us a follow. Kirby and Trell both stream, and they're pretty great. I follow both of them, and you should too. So I'll actually shout out both of them in the stream for you, and their names are also above their faces there.
Yeah.
So hope you guys enjoyed, and I guess that's everything we've got to say, right?
Yeah, I think that was great. And then we have a lot of ideas for new topics just based on things we stumbled upon this stream. So it's good.
Yeah. Like why Dark Souls 2 is the best Dark Souls game.
Oh man, we didn't even talk about Dark Souls. I'm very proud of us.
Yeah, I know. I was like, man, usually we always bring it back to Dark Souls.
Yeah. Dark Souls is gonna be like it's an 8-piece series. It's more of like a mini. It's more of like a thing. It's like a movie itself.
Inevitably we're gonna have to do like a topic on Dark Souls.
Oh, of course we will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But we're gonna savor that for quite a while.
Yeah, but we need you to play through 3 trial, and then we'll give Wombat time to play through 2. Will be good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure
For
we'll
like
get
8
flack
years.
for it because it seems like everyone always compares any video game nowadays to Dark Souls. So
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get flack.
If I
for
ever die at a
talking
video
about
game, it's obviously the Dark Souls of that genre of that game. I don't die in games unless it's Dark Souls. So.
it. Okay. I
So
remember seeing some deaths in that bunny game. I'm pretty sure.
That's because that's the Dark Souls of platformers. It's the Dark Souls of rabbit simulators. I mean, that's why.
so next time our podcast is going to be about types of gamers that we are and how we interact with the games that we play. So
that's good.
we're all three of us are very different in how we play games, and you'll see how. I might even bring in some examples from clips from different channels.
Oh no, I
So-
don't know about that.
Bring in the clips. Bring in the clips. Let's go.
So we'll probably
no.
be back in 2 weeks, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, for more Rogue Scholars. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
That was good.